All right, this is Mr. McKee again with SEC 150. I wanted to go ahead and go over the Class B subnet exercise that was homework last week. And I know some of you guys that are new to networking and security, this is going to be probably brand new to you, but it's something you really need to understand. No matter if you're going to networking, security, it all runs together. So I mean, understanding one helps you out with the other. So the learning curve is a lot easier to get over. All right, so first thing we want to do, and we know a Class B address. Now I've put a little cheat sheet right here on this. This is the subnet calculator. All right, Class B, it's going to be the first octet is 128 to 191. All right, so 130 is a sub B address. So we're using 130.6.0.0 network, and subnet sizes are these three: 8190, 16382, and 32766. All right, and looking at this, the subnet size, this is showing you the number of hosts. And remember, this is the number of hosts plus a network address which is right here, network address and a broadcast address will give you the total number of pretty much the slots in that network. All right. So let's look at this. Okay, so subnet mask of 17 means 17 of the bits moving from left to right are going to be used for the network address, and the rest out of 32 are going to be used for host addresses. All right, so, and I've put a backslash up here, but this would be backslash 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and so on. 19, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 is right here. I'm going to highlight this. That's our 17, backslash 17. All right, so that means all of these bits are taken up as a network address. All right, I'm going to highlight those in blue. And if we highlight over them, our sum 17 are right on there. If we look down, 32,768. Right, 32,766 plus network and a broadcast address. You can't use the network address because that identifies the network. You can't use the broadcast address because that's reserved to send out broadcast messages to everybody on the network. All right, you can't use those as host addresses. So that's why it says number of hosts right here, 32,766. All right, so all these can be used for host addresses. And this looks like it overlaps a lot of times, but actually if you look at 32,768 total for this bit position on 17th bit, if you highlight everything to the left of it, highlight that, 32,767 plus a 0. See, this doesn't add 0 in there. All right, 32,767 plus 1 would be 32,768. So all these together, left over plus 0, 32,768. Okay, and then it's right there. And then so on. If you had a backslash 16, it'd be, this one would be, all these would be network address, and then this would be, you can use for host subnet. All right, so that's something that a lot of people have trouble with. I'm going to highlight this as our hosts are all green. All right, you can use all these bits for host addresses. Host addresses, network, and subnet. All right, so right here we have that's done for us. So the range, and this is just short. They just shortened it, but basically that 0.1 is this last two the last two octets. All right. From 00, the next one would be 01, all the way up to 130.6.127.254. And if you want to look at that, say, okay, I'm not sure if that adds up correctly. Let me get a calculator. All right, so each of these octets are 256 total bits, or total positions each. Alright, so if I do 128, because 127.255 and 127.0 are all in there. If I did 128, whoops, times 256, alright, 32,768. So I can just look at that. Of course, I've been doing it a while, so I can figure that out. But if I add up those 0 to 127, that'd be 128 times 256 per octet. That gives me my maximum number of usable of addresses. All right, so that takes just doing it over and over again. All right, so moving on now. Let me go ahead and clear these back out. All right, so the next one, and now looking at this, and I want to say this subnet calculator, it doesn't really calculate anything. I just have it up here to kind of like show you guys. You can get calculators that will calculate it for you, but you don't understand how it works and how to figure out if it's wrong. All right, so subnet size of hosts, and some of you guys that just started 130.6.0.0 on each of these, that's technically right, but the way they wanted you to do it, they wanted you to go in order. All right, so 130.6.0.0, the next would be 130.6.1. Let me make sure this is right now. Alright, so the next one's going to be, see, 127.255 is the very last address in the 127 octet. So 130.6.128.28.0. Alright, that starts off our network address, and all these network addresses are even, and in this case they're all going to look mighty similar, and then the broadcast addresses are odd. Alright, actually let me go back. So 16,382 number of addresses. If we go up here, that's the amount of addresses that we need right here. Alright, 16,382. So that means if we cover up all these bits, that's 8, 16, 17, 18. That'd be a \18. Alright, all these are network addresses, all these are host addresses. Alright, so all greens are hosts. The total we can use, hang on, I'm going to pause this while I answer the phone. Alright, so 16,384 total. So, and if you look right below that, the number of hosts, taking away the network address and the broadcast address, 16,382. Alright, that's the number of hosts we need. Alright, that's our network address. This will be a \18, because 18 of these bits are taken up by host address. That's what that means. Alright, so the first one is going to be, we're just going to add a 1 to that. 130.6.128. Well, let's do this. 128.1 through, And we can tell right here that's our broadcast address. So it's going to be one less than that broadcast address, 191.254. All right, there's our IP range. All right, and I know that looks funny. I don't really ever do it like that, but in reality, these would be. Let's bring up Notepad. That would be 130.6.128.1 through 130.6.191.254. All right, there's our this is our IP range. All right, so put them in parentheses if you want to. 130.6.128.1 all the way up to 130.6.191.254. All right, so that's right. All right, so sorry about that. People call me on the phone all the time. All right, so our host IP range is 130.6.128.0 through 130.6.191.254. And then you're like, oh, okay, wait a minute. How do you know that it's going to be 128.1 through 191.254? All right, you can sit there and calculate it out, but here's a shortcut. All right, so we know our total number of addresses are going to be 16. Let me get that. I don't want to say this wrong. 16,384. All right. So if we add all these up, plus 1, because we don't have 0, 16,384. And that's how many addresses we. 16,382 is the number of addresses plus network and broadcast address. 16,384. We do 16,384, and then divide that by the magic number of 256, because we have 256 slots per octet. 256 here, 256 here, and so on. All right. If I were to take 16,384, divide 256 from it, well, if I type it in correctly, 16,384 divided by 256. I need to add 60 more bits times 256 to get to 16,384. So we need to know this number. We need to remember magic number of 256. We need to know how many addresses we have total or hosts we need total. Either of those. If we know those three things, we can take, okay, we're starting out with 128. If we add 64 to 128, all right, that gives us 192 total. Okay, so in IP addresses, the last digit before 192 is 191.255. So you just have to know that. All right. So coming around here, back here, we're gonna have our next network. Our network address is gonna be 192.6.192. Make sure I'm doing that right. .0. All right. So 130.6.192.0. Okay. And same thing. All these are pretty much the same. As long as you have this sheet, you know how to. If you know how to come up with these numbers for the amount of. When I say positions, I say bits. Each of these are bits. These are the number of addresses total. All right, addresses or slots. I like to say slots just because it makes more sense to me. Okay, so 130.6.122.0 is our network address. It's it's a 0. It's a even number. We know that. So that's 50% shot. That's correct. All right. We need 8190 hosts total. So 8190 hosts would be right here. So we'll extend out the network to a \19 for the subnet mask. All right, and IP range is going to be here. I'll type it out. Take out this number. So our IP range is going to be 130.6.192.1. Host address now. 192.0 is our network address. Host address is the next one in line, so .1 through. All right, and this is where probably you guys might have questions. All right, so we need to add 8190 to that. All right, or 8192 total. So if we take, let's get our calculator back out. If we take 8192, and that's right there, or add all these up, divide that by our magic number of 256, we're going to have 32. Is that right? 32. All right. So we're going to add 32 to 192. All right. Because we're adding 32 of 256 addresses or slots. All right. 130.6. All right. 32 plus 192. And 224 would be total, but we need to know you need to do one less, so 223.254, because all right, there's our host address range, and then our broadcast is going to be the very last one in that subnet. Which, let me get it back. Where'd it go? I got too many things open. All right. So this is going to be 223.255. All right. And if you notice, all these broadcasts are all 255s. All right. So this is going to be 192.1, and make sure you know network address 130.6.122.0. All right, the next number in line is going to be the octet to the right, so that 0 is going to turn into a 1, and then add 8190 to that. You're going to get to the end of the IP range of 223.254, and then the very last address after that, it would be 223.255. All right, so let's keep going. I'm at about 19 minutes. I'll end this video at about 30 minutes, just to keep it kind of short. Let me reset all my stuff in here. This just takes doing. I don't think anybody wakes up one day and is like, here's this one time, and is like, hey, I understand this fully. This takes going over and over again, but just remember magic number 256. Remember each of these octets have 256 total slots, total possible slots in there, or 8 bits per octet. All right. All right, so we got problem 2 is a 152.168.0.0. So you really don't have to think about the first 2 octets. Those are set for you, and then the last 2 are zeros. working with a Class B address, you're going to be able to use this octet and that octet for hosts. All right. So we know it's going to be 152.168.0.0 is our network address. We need 16,382 hosts, so add 2 to that, 16,384. So we need this right here. All right, 16,384. If you add up all the rest, 16,383 plus 0. All right, so we know we're on the right track. That's going to be a \18. All right, IP range. Well, we know 152.168 is going to be the same. So let's do our calculation. All right, so 16,384 total now. Don't look at that. That's hosts. I have to add 2 to that. Divided by 256, 64. So we're going to add 64 to the 0. All right, but before we do that, dot 0.1 is going to be this 152.168.0.0. 0.1 is going to be the first address. Now our very last address is going to be 63. Can't be 64. That would be all together 64. So we need to do dot 63. And we can't do 255 on the very last octet because that's the broadcast address. So this is going to be 254. Right? And then this is going to be 63.255. It didn't always end up like that, but if you guys know, if you guys recognize 255 as being the broadcast a lot of times, I mean, that makes it kind of easier. And then we know, and these all go in order. I know some of you guys did these, you started everything out with 152.60.0.0 for each of these. That's technically right because the instructions don't specifically say that. They don't say work in order down, but that's what they wanted you to do, and that's why these already pre-filled in answers, they won't line up to anything if you do those just in do them out of order. Either way, I'll give you credit, but just to understand that these are made to be in order, and you start from the biggest to the smallest. All right, so if we knew 63.255 is the broadcast for that subnet, 152.168.64.0 is going to be the next one in line for that network. All right, we need 8190 hosts, so 8192 is going to be total. There's host right there. Add our blue highlight to that. That's going to be our network mask. All right, and that's not 18, but that's 19. All right, we can put a \19. All right, so IP range. We know our first first host address, and our IP range is going to be a 64.1 because that's the next one in line. 64.1, and it's going to have to go up to. Well, we don't know yet. Off the top of your head, some people can calculate that. To be sure, though, all right, we need 8192 total or 8190 hosts. So let's do 8192 divided by our magic number of 256, 32. So we're going to add 32 to 64. All right, 32 times 64 equals, did I calculate that wrong? Oh, hang on a second. 8192 divided by 256 equals, all right, 32. So at 32 to 64, 64. All right, 96 it would be total all the way to the end, but we're still going to do a 95. Hang on a second. Really? All right. 95 dot. All right, can't be 255 because that's the broadcast. 254. All right. So our broadcast is going to be 95.255. All right, and we know we had 96. That 96 is going to be this next network address. 152.168.0. All right, we need 4094 host addresses or 4096 network total addresses. All right, so it's going to be right there. Right, backslash 18, 19, 20. So backslash 20, give us a total of that, or add all these up, add a 0 just to make sure. 4095 plus 0 is 4096, minus subnet and broadcast 4094. Let's put down our backslash 20 subnet mask. All right, and IP range, well, we know our first address is going to be a 96.1 because we added 1 to this, 0. All right, so we need, let's do our calculations. 4096 divided by 256, 16. All right, so we got 16, so we're going to add 16 to 96, plus 96, 112. All right, 112 is going to be all the way on the next network address, so we're going to do a 111.254 because 95.255 is going to be a broadcast address. All right. And then the next line is actually filled in for us because they were nice and let us do, and did that for us. Just make sure we're on the right track. Now, if this didn't line up for some reason, we would know that we went wrong in this case. But you know what? That's not right. That's a good reason it's there. 111. All right. So 96 to 111. All right. I know looking at that it's kind of confusing, but once you know what you're looking at and why that is, I mean, it makes a lot more sense. Hopefully it's starting to make some more sense. I'm going to stop this video because we're at about 29 minutes, and I'll make the next video for problem 3. All right, thanks for watching.